well, I mean, one of the great things, I mean, as I mentioned, like it's such a great investment group, and so some of the, one of the greatest benefits of the program is like building that network and even building friendships from the program. And so those friendships are great, and I've been communicating with them, meeting with them. Some of us are discussing some kind of like more professional approach or some next stage of how we can, level up our angel investing game.
I'm so excited to hear that. It's one of our focuses to create community and just help everyone else step into the angel investing and hopefully make friends and start something new. That really makes me happy to hear that.
Yeah, it's one of the best things about the program. So absolutely doing that. One of the things I did is I switched, my LinkedIn headline to include investor. And as soon as you do that, you do start to get a lot of cold pitches from startups. But what's amazing is that even from those pitches and from those messages you start to get on LinkedIn, I've met with several, I would say probably a dozen different startups online. And then those within the ecosystem here in Barcelona, I've started to meet with some of those startup founders locally as well. And so, yeah, just it takes time, of course, but building up that network, building up that momentum is very enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully the overall ecosystem brings you more of what you're looking for and creates a space for you to have a platform to announce or share what you're interested in, to even create a butterfly effect and create a bigger circle around you.
Yeah, I very much hope so, yeah.
So now looking back at like how was the program and your engagement a second time around, if you were to do the program, what would you do differently? Or what would you advise people to pay attention to when they are joining the next program?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I am coming back, right? So I'll be the lead investor of TAAC 7, Transatlantic Angel Conference, Edition 7. But yeah, I would say that what I would do differently and what I would recommend to anybody coming into the program now is to really, put a lot of effort in the beginning stages. So it can be a bit overwhelming. You're learning, but you have to evaluate, really 70 potential companies that you want to look at. And so being able to like pretty thoroughly review those pitch decks, take a little bit of notes, because you're going to have an opportunity to meet those founders when they start to pitch, and having some questions lined up, what are you not sure about with their pitch. Having some questions really makes those interactions much more valuable. And I would say that the other thing is that doing a little bit of background research, understanding the basics is very important. And so there are resources out there. I mean, there are books like Angel Investing, but there are also resources online. So just learning a little bit about the process. The more knowledgeable you'll be, and the more prepared you'll be.
Absolutely. And also I see this thing when everyone comes back a second time around, they already have enjoyed the process from the beginning so much more because they know a little bit more, so they feel a bit more ready to ask those questions and engage with the startup without the hesitation or like fear of being irrelevant or stepping outside of the line, or which there are no lines, learning program.
Yeah, there are no rules, right? I mean, you can ask any questions that come to mind, and I think that open-mindedness is another important trait for investors coming in.
Exactly, and learning that it's okay to ask those questions, and they're very important. Everyone starts from a very different place, so a tech company, for example, for someone to understand, depending on your background, you need to ask different questions, and all of them are relevant because at the end of the day, we are angel investors and it's our personal investment, so we need to understand, not that the information is just communicated and that's it. Yeah. Do you have any final reflections about angel investing or about the overall ecosystem here?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I mean, it's a big question. So I would say that another thing that's on my mind is that I do think a lot of things are changing right now in startups and in technology in general. I mean, of course, AI is such a big thing now. And the cost of creating a startup is going to be exponentially lower than it used to be. I think that teams are going to be exponentially smaller than they used to be. And I think the small teams are going to be able to scale up and create big, very, very successful companies. And what that means for angel investing, of course, is that I think that these startups are not necessarily going to need later stage VC funding. I think that the number of startups that even become wildly successful can bypass Series A. They won't even go into that because they'll already be able to reach profitability at a very low cost. And so really, I think that angel investing may be increasingly like the only way to invest in a lot of startups. And so I think that now's the time to consider becoming an angel investor. I also think that it's very, very eye-opening and a learning experience for founders as well. I mean, having been on the founder side and on the startup side, I've, as I mentioned, prepared startup pitch decks in the past, but then once you're on the other side of the table, you have a completely different mindset about it. And so for founders, I think you can also become an angel investor, especially with small ticket sizes, and just gain that experience and that knowledge of what it's like to hear pitches, what it's like to put your own money into another startup. I think it sharpens your ability as a founder as well.
Absolutely, and it changes your perspective and expectations from an investor because you can feel them, and if you understand what are their fears, what's going through their mind, you can definitely connect with them better and speak the same language more or less.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Mike. This was Startup Investor Accelerators interview sessions with angel investors.